now, the For Pete's Sake podcast, hosted by Rob Blackman and Joey Mulinaro.
And hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. As always, we are thrilled that you have taken some time to join us to talk any and all Purdue sports. I'm Rob Blackman, my co-host, Joey Mulinaro, and it's nice to see you, Joey. Believe it or not, we have turned the calendar into the month of March, which means it's go time for basketball.
Big go time. It's hard to believe that it is March because I woke up to about 5 inches of snow on the ground, as I'm sure you did as well. Yes. So kind of wondering what kind of weird time warp we're in there. But again, it'll be 70 by the time a lot of folks are listening to this, I'm sure. So that's been long gone. But it is the month of March, and it's time to maybe a bit of a collective soul search, figure some things out here down the stretch.
Well, we have a good guest coming up to talk about that. Our Purdue men's basketball assistant coach Brandon Brantley is going to join us on the program today. Yes, our Boilermakers have fallen on hard times, losing 3 of their last 4. We'll talk to Coach Brantley about the Boilermakers and really more importantly, quite frankly, the whole reason we're having him on today to celebrate the fact that he was just recently announced as a member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, the class of 2026. So we're going to talk to Coach Brantley about that. Also joining us today from the women's side of things when we're talking hoops, how about Madison Layden-Zay? Within the last few weeks, actually, became the school's all-time three-point leader. Yeah. No one has made more threes in their career for women's hoops than Madison Layden-Zay.
Got some history making on the pod here. Very excited to talk to Madison. I know we talked to KG back at the start of the season, so pumped to get some insight from Madison about her historic career at Purdue and what's left of their season.
Well, their season continues on because on Sunday they won a do-or-die game at Northwestern to put themselves into the Big Ten tournament. So congratulations to Coach Gerald's and the women's basketball team who will open up Big Ten tournament play this week in Indianapolis. By the way, I do have to mention this fancy new jacket I'm wearing here today. Thank you, Home Field Apparel, for setting up old Rob Blackman with some major swag. This is awesome.
Absolutely. They made a quick drop-off to me before I headed up for the IU game at Mackey Arena a few weeks ago. They said, oh, yeah, hey, by the way, take this to your pal Rob when next time you see him as well. So I had to bring that to you. I myself, of course, rocking Home Field. This is the coach's jacket. As you and Corey Palm were mentioning before we got on air, you said I look like who with this jacket on?
Well, Corey, you said
George King.
Coach King.
Yeah. So a little bit of throwback.
I'll go with George King, too.
A little bit of a throwback here, right? Maybe get the whistle around my neck here. It's good. It's lightweight, but stylish. It's got a cool back there as well. So very excited, and thank you to Home Field as well.
Speaking of Home Field, it's my understanding that in March they have like this special line of I don't know, what do you call it? Hoops? What do we call it? Hoops special apparel to get you ready for the.
Well, sorry, I think I got like.
You're making a funny face.
I think I have an old coffee that was in this coffee that I just poured into here, so we might have to dump that out in the break. It's the Hoops Society hoodies and shorts. Very excited about that. Some nice mesh shorts to wear out for some day basketball we're going to be watching. But this is the first segment, Rob, and that is who we're presented by Tom Wood, correct?
Tom Wood Automotive. You're drinking out of your Tom Wood Automotive cup. By the way, This is not Tom Wood Automotive's fault that maybe some coffee was left in with some new coffee. But the face you just made actually put a huge smile on my face.
Well, I was feeling a little bit of like some cottage cheese clunkiness in this, and so I'm not really sure. Like I said, we're going to have to, once we break here, I'll go figure that out, maybe get myself a water. But again, nothing to do with Tom Wood. The mug is fantastic. What's inside of it is my control, my doing. So
with that being said, it actually feels good to have a smile on my face, and I think Boilermaker fans are going to agree with me on this one. It's been tough to smile, quite frankly, over the last few days. We received some really tragic news last weekend. We are taping this here on a Monday, the first Monday in March. The passing of Rondale Moore, the Boilermaker great. And I say that as if, quite frankly, it's not using a strong enough word when I call him great. Passing at the age of just 25, Rondale, who came to us from Southern Indiana and played his high school football in Louisville, decided to play collegiately for the Boilermakers. Joey, the number of thrills, the amount of excitement, the number of highlights that he provided for Purdue football fans in his stint here on campus, it would be impossible for us in this segment, for those who are watching the video, to even begin to show 1/10 of those highlights.
Yeah.
What a great player he was. What a great young man he was.
So sad. It just is really hard to wrap our head around at all. Even a week and a half now after finding out about that news. But I think back to, I was lucky enough, you were there as well, to be at his first collegiate game that Thursday night, prime time at Ross-Ade against Northwestern. ESPN was there. I mean, big deal, right? And I just will never forget hearing about this kid who's coming from Southern Indiana, who he didn't spurn, but he walked away from the Texases and the Alabamas and the Florida States of the world to come to Purdue. Holy cow, this kid's got to be something, right? First collegiate game under the lights, takes a jet screen to the house and really put the nation and Purdue fans everywhere on notice for what was to come for the next handful of years. I will never forget that night saying to then we weren't even married yet. It was my fiance. We had a few weeks left until we got married. No, we had a year left until we got married. I said, my fiance, this Rondale Moore kid, he's supposed to be really, really good. He's number 4. Let's see what happens. And just went off in that game. And of course, then you think of the Boston College game, the homecoming, where he took another 70-yard screen to the house. Think of the Ohio State game, the Tyler Trent night, of course, will be ingrained in all of our memories forever. Just so lucky. I mean, you mentioned, you think of the Rod Woodsons of Purdue football.
Sure.
You think of the Drew Breeses of Purdue football.
Absolutely.
For my generation, a generation younger than us, we weren't of state of mind. We weren't even around to really take in those memories of players like that. Rondale Moore was that guy for us, is that guy for us, and forever will be. Just terribly sad, and I mean, we'll be a Boilermaker legend forever.
A lot of sadness with the Boilermakers across the world when we heard the news of the passing of Rondale Moore. Thoughts?
Do you have any favorite memory? I know I mentioned the big ones. Did any other ones pop out to you?
Actually, yes, and it has to do with the win over number 2 Ohio State in that game here. We all call it the Tyler Trent game, appropriately enough. But not only was I working on the Purdue Radio Network that night, but the Big Ten Network had hired me to do some post-game interviews. And quite frankly, I don't mind saying this out loud now. I was of the opinion that I probably would be talking to the Ohio State coach and players after that game. Surprisingly enough, and pleasantly surprisingly enough, I was talking to the Boilermaker players because Big Ten Network, they're front runners. They just want to hear from the winners. And so sure enough, I talked to Coach Jeff Brom, and then my second interview that night was with Rondale Moore, and I will never forget standing beside him. And I'm actually, look, I'm a smidge under 5'11", and I'm taller than Rondale. And as I'm doing the interview with him, and such a great interview, by the way, I'm thinking, man, how does this little dude do what he does on the football field? It's amazing. He was diminutive, but so strong, so quick, and such a fierce competitor. But from my standpoint as a media nerd, he was such a pleasant interview. And obviously he was going to be all smiles that night. Why would he not be?
Yeah.
But I can remember standing by him thinking 2 things. 1, man, you're not very tall. And 2, you literally, young man, have just put yourself in the memory banks of Purdue football fans from here until the end of time with what you have done tonight against Ohio State. So, great young man. We will miss him greatly. And what a great Boilermaker he was. With that, let us take a break. Plenty more to come here on this edition of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Is brought to you, as always, by the Tom Wood Automotive Group. This is episode 12, and segment 2 comes up after this. Full speed ahead on this edition of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics, presented by Tom Wood Automotive Group. Time now for our Lafayette Limo Liftoff segment. Lafayette Limo, family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 38 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis Airport and O'Hare Airport 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. Let us start with, how about Big Ten champions in the world of Purdue diving?
Yeah.
We're used to having Big Ten champs in diving. Avery Warabell, the 3-meter champ. That was in Minneapolis back on February 20th. And then Max Miller, how about a 1-meter champion in Madison, Wisconsin? He won on February 26th, an individual Big Ten champ. So congratulations to both Avery and Max.
Absolutely. I'm watching. We got the Maxwell Miller dive right there. And it just, we got summer coming up. It's going to be warmer. It reminds me of those days. Probably like, Lake Freeman for you, where you dive off the dock? And you some flips, some
I would do a cannonball.
Cannonball? Yeah.
Do a cannonball.
I don't think they have a Big Ten championship category or gold medal for
that'd be
cannonball.
great if
It
they
would
did,
be.
though.
I think it should. All right, let's move on to, we got Madison Layden-Zay coming up. Very excited to talk to her. Women's hoops keeping the season alive. They won at Northwestern on Sunday to qualify for the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. Very excited about that. They'll be playing Oregon on Wednesday night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Hey, how about this from the Northwestern matchup? Nia Smith, Kiki Smith, and Tara Day combined for 51 points, 51 of their 67, and that 5-point road victory. Now, Boilermakers 14th seed. Again, that's Wednesday. They're hoping to get hot and get a little momentum right through the tournament. Let's get it going.
Do or die.
Do or die.
Sunday at Northwestern. They got it done. If you're already going to win the do or die game, just keep winning do or die game.
That's right.
Hey, how about Purdue baseball? Coach Greg Goff and the Boilermakers are off to a great start. 2 weekends ago, they beat the 11th ranked team in the country in Oregon State. And to say they're off to a good start, well, that would be putting it kindly. Currently 8-3 are the Boilermakers. Just swept Marist. 4 games. They had a 4-game series against Marist in North Carolina this past weekend. Swept all 4 of those games. And with that, the pre-conference portion of the schedule over. Now conference play will begin this weekend in West Lafayette. Those in central Indiana or further points south are saying, really? Because on Monday I had 4 inches of snow on my lawn. Yes, we're expecting warmer temperatures in West Lafayette for the upcoming weekend, so we will have the Big Ten home opener against former Purdue baseball coach Mark Wasikowski and the Oregon Ducks. This Friday is game 1 of this 3-game series, 4 o'clock, and then Purdue plays Saturday at 2. Purdue plays again Sunday at noon. Again, weather looks pretty favorable weather-wise. Maybe some rain in the forecast, but we'll hope that stays away. But believe it or not, we're going to play home baseball, it certainly looks like, here in early March in West Lafayette, Indiana. One quick note on Coach Goff and the Boilermakers as they prep for Big Ten play. And I have to admit this publicly. When Coach Goff told me he was going to start a true freshman at shortstop, right, the most important piece of the defense, his name's Weston Boyle, young man out of Kansas. I told Coach Goff, you're crazy. You're crazy. Why would you start a true freshman at this level? Well, let me tell you who the crazy one is. It's me. Here are Weston Boyle, the true freshman, the shortstop. Here are his numbers through the first 11 games of his collegiate career.
Talk to me.
He is leading the team in batting average at .447. He has 16 RBI, a team high, and he's committed 1 error. True freshman.
447?
447 as a freshman.
Wow.
Once again, proving that Rob Blackman knows nothing about collegiate baseball. I should have just kept that to myself. So anyway, Coach Goff, Boilermakers, good luck with the Big Ten opener this coming weekend. The Oregon Ducks coming to town. Again, the weather should be at least decent enough to get out to Alexander Field and root on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I think I saw 73 as a high on Friday, 76 as a high on Saturday.
Sound me like he likes.
Sounds like a lawn and a dog and some baseball to me, Rob. Hey, let's stick on the stick and ball in the diamond sport there. Softball off to a 13-6 start on the year. Maggie Frizzotti, head coach of the Boilers, swept the Purple Gold Challenge in Nashville. That's 2 wins against SIU, 2 wins against Lipscomb. And softball is also home this weekend. The Boilermaker Softball Classic hosting NIU, St. Bonaventure, and Green Bay. So not only the baseball squad, but softball team all up in West Lafayette this weekend. Should be a great early spring start for everybody to get out, support the Boilers.
I know this much. You love our wrestling team. You love Joey Blaze, and it's about that time it gets real serious, Joseph.
It does, yeah. Joey Blaze, friend of the show, same name as me. Gotta love the kid. 4th undefeated regular season in school history for him. He joins Charles Jones in 91-92, Chris Flieger in 02 and 03, Matt Ramos last year, 2024-2025,
Correct.
And then Joey Blaze this year. However, Brooke, our fellow behind the scenes, one of our great producers, social media helpers, he said, filled us in, that Joey Blaze got the 3rd seed in the Big Ten tournament.
Boo.
Got a little bit of a home cooking, though. He got screwed. You said it, so I'll say it. He got screwed because he already beat the fella from Iowa, Caliendo, and somehow he's ranked ahead of Joey in the Big Ten tournament, the 2 seed, Joey's a 3 seed. But like Brooks said, our guy Joey loves to compete as the underdog. So got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder going in. But what an unbelievable year for Joey Blaze. We talked about it when he first joined the program back in December. It's going to be a hell of a year for him. Coach Ursuline said as much as well, and it has been nothing short of historic. So, 2025 National Finest, he still hasn't surrendered a single takedown all season. The guy just stays on his feet and just dominates.
Amazing. At Penn State this coming weekend for the Big Ten Championships. That's what you need to know in the Lafayette Limo Liftoff segment. Time to welcome a couple of our esteemed guests to the podcast. When we come back, assistant men's basketball coach Brandon Brantley, the Hall of Famer, will join us next. And still to come from the women's basketball team, Madison Layden-Zay. She'll give us a preview of that Big Ten tournament game coming up this Wednesday night against Oregon. And more importantly, we will talk to her about the fact that she is the school's all-time leader in three-point buckets. That's all coming up on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. It's brought to you by the Tom Wood Automotive Group. Time now for the big interview segment. It's brought to you, as always, by Ford and your Central Indiana Ford dealers. They are proud sponsors of Purdue Athletics. Visit your local Central Indiana Ford dealer today. For those that are watching visually, as you see on the sets currently to my left, is Purdue men's basketball assistant coach Brandon Brantley, a former Boilermaker himself. And for those that are watching visually, you also see that the seat to my right is currently unoccupied. If you were with us earlier in the program, you might remember Joey took a swig of what he thought would be a delicious cup of coffee. And I don't know if he said this on air or off, but he said it had the texture of cottage cheese when taking a swig. So because of that, we've given Joseph a few minutes off. He's outside getting some fresh air. He may or may not rejoin me here for this segment. If nothing else, fingers crossed, he's healthy enough to join us for the Madison Layden-Zay segment, which comes up after we talk to Coach Brantley. All right, Coach B, welcome.
Man, thank you.
I would caution you with the coffee, just go easy, because it's the reason Joey's not here right now.
I can tell you my coffee doesn't have the texture of cottage cheese, so it's Folgers.
So that's a good way to start. Hey, listen, a lot of things to talk about with you, certainly Purdue men's basketball related, but the whole reason we wanted to have you on here today was to celebrate you being named just a couple of months ago. It became official. The Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame names you as one of its newest members. Congratulations. What a great honor for you.
Thank you. I just, it's crazy because like growing up, you never think about stuff like that. You just want to play.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I remember when I started playing basketball and just watching guys at the playground and like, you know, your goal, you're so short-sighted in your goals when you're young. And I want to get on the court and just be able to run with those guys. And, you know, and as time, you know, progressed, you know, your goals change. And I honestly, I didn't even know I never thought about an Indiana Hall of Fame. And my All-Star class got inducted like the 25th year.
Sure, yeah, 25 anniversary team, yeah.
I got a chance to go to that ceremony, and man, so the basketball history in Indiana is so rich.
Yes.
And now, and that was, you know, probably a decade ago, and now I sit here and I'm 52, and I'm just like, wow, I don't know if it's still like hitting me yet, just like, man, I'm in the Hall of Fame, because, you know, in my mind, that's reserved for, you know, for the big dogs, and Dan Bailey's and, you know, Allen Henderson's, you know, then those guys deserve it. They would, you know, then I just never put myself in a class like that. And so just to be able to, you know, sit amongst those guys is definitely an honor.
Well, one of two Boilermakers that will go in, the induction ceremony is actually this month, the month of March. The other Boilermaker, the late Jerron Cornell. When you're at Andrean High School, up in the northwest corner of the state, the region, and you start playing high school basketball, and you just said it, you know, when you're a young guy, you certainly never think about making it into the Hall of Fame, but when you're playing high school basketball, at what point does it enter your mind that, hey, I might be good enough to play at the Division I level, let alone the Big Ten level in a place like Purdue.
I always talk about it because I really didn't develop a love for basketball probably until the midway point of my when I was in junior high school.
Hmm.
And I
What? Let me stop you. Were you into other sports, or you just?
I was just a boy, man. I was climbing trees or riding bikes and
Sure.
running with my friends outside. I was a boy, you know.
Right.
And my dad was the one that introduced me to basketball, but he never pushed me because he said, if you didn't have the love for it or the passion, why do it? And then when I developed that passion, then we put both feet forward, and that's when I really started getting into the sport.
As a player at the high school level, were you one of the better players right out of the gate, freshman year, sophomore year, or how did that evolve?
I wasn't, man. I don't even know if Andran knew I was coming in. I was.
Wait a minute, no. I was told the private schools, they recruit the best players. You're telling me that wasn't the case for you?
I wasn't. My mom sent me there because she wanted me to, obviously to get a great education. That was always the priority. And then my 8th grade year, going into my 8th grade year, that's when I really started like picking up on basketball. Then I came in and I was about 6'2", 6'3", hit a growth spurt after my freshman season. So they probably saw some potential my freshman year. And, after I got into the off season after my freshman year, and that's when I kind of hit a growth spurt. I came back about 6'6". I had gotten way more athletic. And then my high school coach at the time, Bob Busher, he saw something in me, and so I guess I can say that's where I took off.
By the way, for those listening or watching that are mad at me for taking a shot at the private schools, both of my kids were private school educated. Okay, I was just having some fun with a group. All right, I'm just having some fun. All right, Coach Brantley, you find your way to Purdue. You must have one or two good Coach Katie stories for us that are appropriate for her air. Again, appropriate for a wide-ranging audience.
I think back because I just lost one of my dearest teammates and favorite teammates in Porter Roberts.
Yeah, right.
And you guys had that picture on the screen of Hawaii, and every time I think of the Hilo shootout in the championship game, we're playing Iowa State, and I can't remember. I know the game went to overtime, maybe double overtime. And it was, Iowa State was a really good team led by Fred Hoiberg. We're going back and forth. And Porter and I were roommates too. So, I mean, we were thick and thin. And but we were so competitive, and we got into it. We would get into it on the court, so he was the point guard. So I was like, man, I can't make him too mad because he's going to stop throwing me the basketball. And he'd tell me, he's like, okay, you got one more chance. Don't look for the ball, big cat. And so I just couldn't hold back. One time we got into it, something happened. Maybe we got our wires crossed, and we're going at it on the court. And one of Coach Katie's pet peeves was guys that walked back to the huddle for a timeout because he said, "Hey, need to maximize our time. We don't have that much. Come on, I need you guys to jog back over." And man, we completely forgot about it. So we arguing, walking back to the huddle, going back and forth, and he's all right, that's enough. And he said something, so I got to say something. He's, hey, that's enough. And so he said something one more time, so I can't let it. So I said something, and he just smacks me on my hand. Coach Katie got those big hands, got those rings on it, and I said, damn it, I said, shut up. Pow. I'm just like, dang, he just smacked me. And we just started laughing. But it was, that's who Coach Katie was, man. I love playing for Coach because he was so fiery. You had to bring it every single day.
Yeah.
You knew like practice, games, like, man, he just had this aura about him, and you just had to be ready to roll with him. And so, man, I loved it.
Well, you were such a big part of 3 Big Ten championship teams back to back to back, obviously coached by Gene Katie. What was that experience like to go, again, look, to win one Big Ten championship, that's kind of a big deal. To do it back to back to back, I mean, that is pretty awesome.
You when you're a young guy and you're watching college sports and you coming in and you see the guys that have been successful in the sport and the immaturity that's just in young people, you just, oh man, that's gonna be my experience. And I remember my freshman year, I first got there, and I was like, this is way harder than what I thought it was going to be. Like, just like getting through practices, the conditioning, like just learning how to manage your time for your academics, man. It was so hard. Me and Conzo Martin, we still joke about it to this day because we both came in as freshmen. And we just think back to those times. It's like, God, like, man, we made it. We really made it through that, you know. But my freshman year, I want to say we finished 8th. And it was just like going up against some of those teams in the Big Ten. I was like, man, will we ever get to this level?
Yeah.
And, man, we just continue to grow and work and believe, and we got to that point. And, you know, obviously, man, playing with Glenn, having Glenn Robinson, like a guy that magnitude,
Yeah.
you know, we were able to take off for that first championship team. But those next two were really special because – you know, you would hear the whispers after he left, oh man, Purdue, they're not going to be any good anymore. You know, Glenn's gone, it's different. And that really motivated us. You know, we had a really good team.
Yeah.
But obviously, like Glenn, you know, gets the spotlight and deservedly so because he was that good. But we really ramped it up, you know, after he left. You know, we lost 4 games, I believe, that first Big Ten championship in '94. And the next 2, we only lost 3. You know, and I think back, and everybody has their own memories, but that was probably like the most special thing was like showing people like, you know, like, okay, we know we're that good. We can do it without this guy.
You have such a unique experience because you played with a National Player of the Year in Glenn Robinson, who you're just speaking of, and you coached a National Player of the Year, 2-time National Player of the Year, if we're being semantics here, in Zach Edey. I mean, you ever have a chance to stop and reflect on that? I mean, I can't imagine there are a whole lot of people walking the earth that both played with a college National Player of the Year as a player and then coached one as a coach.
Not really. I thought about it. Glenn came back a couple years ago, and I was like, man, this is really cool. Like 2 National Player of the Years, just like first time meeting and they talking. And I just kind of sat back and just watched it like, wow, just
right.
But I was jealous. I was like, I want to be as good as these guys.
Yeah, I think a lot of people could say that.
So that was pretty cool. And they're both, you know, not only were they great players, but like very near and dear to me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like coming up with Glenn, and we had our times, and then just being able to, you know, I think it's more special when you're able to coach and teach because now you pouring into somebody. And you know, when Zach first walked in, they're 2 different guys. Like Glenn was like, he was really that good. You know, when we were young, so we graduated the same year in high school, and I'll tell you a story. We played against each other. It was our very first high school games. We were on the freshman team. Shows you how far back, because now these kids come in, they play varsity. We had to play on the freshman team.
So Glenn was on a freshman team.
He was on the freshman team, and I never heard of him. And so I'm feeling myself, and I'm just like, man, okay. So we go up against him. I think I had like 10 points, but I'm just like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, I think I'm better than him. You know, he was, he was just okay. You know, and after the season, we play. I get a call from a guy, and he wants me to play on the AAU team. And so he's telling me these names, and so I'm on the phone, I'm listening to him. I got you, coach, and he's naming names. I'm like, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. And he said, and the last one, he said, I'm gonna get the big kid from Gary Roosevelt. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm better than him. We get to that first practice. After it's over, I come back home, and I'm riding in the car with my dad, and I'm just like, I'm not better than him. Like, this dude is really good. And he just, he took off. Like, he was so special. But Zach gets to Purdue, and Steve Lutz recruited him. So when he got there, and you just didn't have a lot of film on Zach because he didn't play his high school team. He said IMG was really good.
Right. Well, can I stop it? You know what the players say, and I've spoken to a few that were with Zach on that first open gym they had, and you've heard the story, but for our viewers and listeners, those on our team that played with him at the very first open gym here in West Lafayette, they walked out of that saying, who's this Zach Edey guy? He's not that good. Why do we give this guy a scholarship? So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, and he just, man, it was something inside of him. He's a really competitive person. And when he sets his sights on something, he's gonna do it. And he wanted to become a basketball player. And that offseason, like he really took a step. Payne talks about it because he was doing COVID, and I think Payne got COVID, so he wasn't around for about a week or two. And then he's traveling. He's a head coach. He's got other engagements, and then he comes back, and he was like, boy, this dude got better. But obviously, we didn't see it because we were around him every day. And he was like, no, this dude is taking a step.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know if he was going to red shirt. And we like, no, we gotta play this guy. And he just kept getting better and better. And so I think that's the most special thing is just, it sounds kind of cliche sometimes. You tell young people, man, if you put your sights to it, you can do it. Man, this guy really did it. So, it's that's so special.
Imagine a guy you're thinking about redshirting to two-time National Player of the Year.
Unbelievable.
All right, I have to ask you about this is what, your 13th year on the staff, if memory serves correct. You have coached a lot of really, really talented big men here at Purdue. So I'm going to throw you a few rapid-fire questions here, okay? First guy you think of, big men, obviously, big men only here. And for the record, for those whose memories are maybe like mine and get a little sketchy, A.J. Hammonds would have been the first big guy you coached. Then Big E, then Isaac, Matt Harms, Travion, Zach, Trey Kaufman, Ren. Am I missing one?
Isaac came before Biggie.
Okay, got you. So I had it backwards. Okay, all right. So here we go. Best hands of any big man you've ever coached here at Purdue?
Travion Williams.
I knew that answer, but I wanted to ask anyway because I've heard you say
got NFL hands.
Right. Best footwork?
Caleb Swanigan.
Yeah. Biggie could move. Strongest, I just mean brute strength. Like if you got caught down low at the post and down low in the post with him, it was game over.
Zach Edey.
Zach. Most skilled, just ball skills.
Wow. Maybe Biggie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he was he could shoot the ball. He was a really good passer. Those other guys I don't think shot the ball like he did. He was always a good free throw shooter. Passing the basketballs, footwork, just, man, total package.
Is it safe to say Biggie's the best rebounder you ever coached? Because Zach certainly gobbled up a lot of rebounds, but it's always felt to me like Caleb just had that knack of finding the ball off of the rim. But that's just me. Best rebounder. Heck, you might say someone else.
I'm going to go with Zach.
Okay.
Biggie was really good. I just people would scheme against Zach, and he would just go get me. He was so big and strong, and the thing about it was he could go get him outside of his area. So it's they would just load up and throw bodies at him, and it didn't matter. He was, that was impressive.
All right, final one here. For those who do not know, most probably do, Coach Brantley doesn't just coach the big guys, he practices with them pretty regularly. He wears these big pads on his arms that kind of help save a few bruises for the old ball coach. But the one guy of the list that I just gave, the one guy that when, you're 5 minutes from practice starting, you were just like, I do not want to have to go against him today, but I have to. So here goes nothing.
Wow.
The one guy you just dreaded having to go against every day in practice as their coach.
I kind of slowed down a little bit, so I know people see the pictures and we got the pads on, and it's just for my protection and theirs. It's I kind of equate it to maybe getting in the ring with a boxer. You're sparring with them and you're just trying to teach them angles and techniques. But when I was younger, I could still move a little bit younger as far as when I was on staff. And I really started doing it because I wanted to light a fire underneath AJ. He have days and you look at him and you say, okay, man, he's not ready to go. And I got to try to wake him up. And sure, I say something to him just to getting going, and all of a sudden he would start going, and I would be like, I try to take him pads off and get off, and he no, coach, come on, gonna you did this. I'm like, I got to get in there. So
Right.
I enjoyed like going against all of them. It's probably still a way like for me to hang on to my youth.
I don't know who you enjoyed going against. I want to know who you hated going against. Like practice is over, you're like in the ice bath.
Like probably like Zach and Isaac Haas, because they were just so big, and so you just always like, because the elbows were so high, you want to protect your face. You don't want to get your teeth knocked out. So it was fun, but it was kind of like, okay, like where is this guy? Like I'm too old to be concussed out here.
All right. Well, speaking of big man, there is a post that has been on Twitter or X or whatever they call it for a number of years, and I have been asked to approach you with this because there seems to be some thought that the post that reads, Purdue basketball has a man on staff who just travels the world going from village to village, asking the locals if they have heard tell of a giant. Are you indeed that man on staff that travels the globe looking for giants?
Because if I travel the globe and I go to like some island, I'm not coming back, right?
Well, that is fair. You did play internationally for a number of years. You've traveled the globe, but I didn't think much about, yes, if you got too comfortable, you might not ever come back.
Man.
Coach Brantley, this has been a great visit. Thank you for giving us some time, and this is a busy part of the year. So with that, let's close with this year's Boilermaker team. And let's face it, this group has faced some rough stretches. Started the season preseason number 1. Now find themselves, as we're taping this, getting ready for the Northwestern game on Wednesday night. What have you seen from our ball club that has you of the belief that this group can get it turned around and really be playing its best basketball now that we've gotten into the month of March?
Basketball is hard. There are peaks and there are valleys, and I never bought into preseason hype a lot, because I think like when you like number 1, everybody says you're the best. Now you got to be able to take everybody's shots, right? And it comes with the territory, but a season is you find out a team has to like go through things, and so you lose a game. Sometimes you just lose a game because the other team was better. You did everything in your power. We followed the scout. We played hard. We tried to do it. They were just better. Our ball didn't go in, and so it's Coach Payne is he's the best at that. He talks. You hear him talk at his press conference about our team being able to win when that ball doesn't go in. The guys having to grow together, learning each other. So I really like our team. Not one bad guy in our locker room. I think they go out and they try to do what we have to, what was asked of them. And I always think back, one of the greatest stories was that 1983 NC State team. And I encourage people to go back and watch that. It's a great 30 for 30. I forget the name of it, but they go through adversity, but they talk about Jim Valvano had those guys practicing cutting down the nets. And they're like, why are we doing this? And he said, hey, we're going to win a national championship. But during the course of that run, they're in a very competitive ACC conference. You got Ralph Sampson's Virginia team. You got Michael Jordan's North Carolina team. I think Georgia Tech was really good, maybe a couple other ones. And in order for those guys to get to the tournament, they got to win that conference tournament, which they do. And then all of a sudden, they just go on a run in the NCAA tournament and end up cutting down those nets, And so it just goes to show you, it's like you never stop believing. You stick to it. Okay, we lose a game, we learn from it. We got to move. And so that's what I see with this team. Really good team. Like nothing's changed. We lost some games. Okay, we'll get better.
Nice to hear you say that. I can promise you, if my broadcast partner, Joey Mulinaro, returns to the program before it's over, I can almost certainly guarantee you he and I are going to talk about the 2011 UConn team with Kemba Walker, because I know that's one of his favorite teams, doing exactly what you're talking about. Had to win 11 straight elimination games. Because if at any point you lose in your conference tournament, you were done. They went all the way to the national championship.
Oh man, absolutely. It's some, Danny and the Miracles in '88. Like just so many great stories out there, and that's why March Madness is at the popularity level of which it is, because those type of things can happen, and so you tell your guys, man, never stop believing. Come on, let's go. Lose one, okay. The sun will be up in the morning. Let's go. Another chance to learn and get better.
Coach Brantley, thank you. Enjoyed the visit and the trip down memory lane.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, Coach Brantley is our big interview segment brought to you by Ford and your Central Indiana Ford dealers. I'm going to do my best to get Joey healthy enough to join me in the next segment. Whether he is here or not, we will trudge on. We will talk to Madison Layden-Zay of the Purdue women's basketball program. They begin Big Ten tournament play on Wednesday night in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, playing Oregon in the Big Ten tournament. And she just happens to be the best three-point shooter in the history of Purdue women's basketball. So we will talk to her next. Stay with us. And again, a huge thank you to assistant men's basketball coach Brandon Brantley, the Hall of Famer. He gets to write HOF beside his name every time he signs an autograph from here to the end of time. Thank you, Coach Brantley. Time to talk some women's hoops now. How about the young woman sitting to our left, Madison Layden-Zay? She may not be in the Hall of Fame just yet, but she might be headed that direction. She is the all-time leader, career three-point shots made in the history of Purdue women's basketball. Madison, we will discuss that in just a moment. But before we do, let's talk about your team and what an impressive win you guys had on Sunday. You go to Northwestern. It's Northwestern Senior Day. Their coach, Joe McEwen, who's coached for 40 years, is retiring. So the building is abuzz because it's his final game. Yet your team knows it's either win or the season's over. Yeah. And you found a way to win. Congratulations. Would you mind speaking to the effort your club put in Sunday to beat Northwestern and keep the season alive?
Yeah, just really proud of them. Obviously, it was tied going into halftime, so we knew we needed to lock in and step up. And I think there were a little bit of nerves at the beginning of the game, so it was kind of just try and settle in, take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. And they did that, and we pulled out the win, and just super excited.
Madison Layden-Zay, I should mention this, is our Home Field Spotlight interview segment.
Yes, Home Field Spotlight presented by your favorite premium collegiate apparel brand. Home Field has all of your incredibly comfortable, officially licensed, vintage-inspired Boilermaker gear. Show off your Purdue pride with Home Field. Do you like these jackets?
Yeah,
Madison?
yeah, really cool.
That's
yeah.
what I feel right there. So you get the win. Boilermakers get the win yesterday on Sunday. Do you feel like now that that's kind of propelling to be able to get hot at the right time? You can kind of ride that momentum into the tourney?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the season hasn't gone the way we wanted it, but I think this is a good first step. Obviously, the number one goal was to make it to the Big Ten tournament, and we've done that. So I think just going into Wednesday, we kind of have nothing to lose at this point. So just play as hard as we can and just go for it.
Well, we should, most of our viewers and listeners that are taking in this podcast are probably seeing this on Wednesday, although we're taping on Monday. And you're probably asking yourself, will Madison Layden-Zay be in uniform on Wednesday? Our fingers are crossed, right, Madison? That we'll have you healthy enough to play Wednesday. Certainly we hope that'll be the case for that Big Ten tournament game Wednesday night around about 8:30 or so, Gainbridge Fieldhouse down in Indianapolis. All right, Madison, there are a lot of questions we have for you. Let me begin with this. You retired, and then you came back. Why'd you come out of retirement to give college basketball one more shot?
Yeah, so during my retirement, I came to a lot of games. Obviously, my sister McKenna was still on the team at that point, so just came to Purdue a lot watching and kind of thought to myself, like, wow, should I be out there? And I kind of wanted to have that final year, and I still had my COVID year left. Talked to my family a lot about it, and then finally asked KG kind of what her thoughts were. And then, it kind of all came together, and now I'm sitting here and just have been able to fulfill that final year and go out with a bang.
Now, you got married in between your retirement and coming back.
Yes. Yep.
As someone who is married myself, did that have anything to do with, I got to get the hell away from this guy? I need to get out a little bit more. I'm tired of those.
No, love him to death.
She hasn't been married long enough yet. Yet.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, just a year and a half at this point. So no, not tired of him yet, but just kind of thought, I'll never get this opportunity again, and might as well just go for it and play basketball one more time.
And in coming back, you, as Rob mentioned off the jump, we mentioned to start the show, now the all-time career leader in three-point baskets made for Purdue women's basketball. I mean, do you just take yourself back to when you first started playing college basketball? You were coming out of high school. I mean, could you ever even fathom that you would be in the record books like that?
No. I knew I liked to shoot threes, but I never could have imagined that I would be in this spot, just because of the amazing people on that list. I mean, you see Katie Gerald's on that list. So, just never a thought in my mind, but super grateful for the teams I've been a part of, and they've got me here.
Do you remember your first career three-pointer?
Oh, no.
I'll help you. I don't remember it either. Luckily, it was provided for me. You were playing Buffalo, November of 2020.
Mm,
You now realize it's March of 2026.
yeah, a few years ago.
That is quite a career. I would love to know, and maybe the answer isn't just one answer. Maybe it is two or three answers to this question, but the hardest part of coming out of retirement to get yourself ready to play both mentally and physically at this level.
Oh gosh. I think just for me, the moment when I told myself, okay, like I'm doing it, I have to be all in, I have to lock in, I need to get myself ready to go, I need to be in shape. I need to be ready for workouts that first day in June. So I think that was probably the hardest part, just telling myself like it's all or nothing at this point. So I mean, I think I did a pretty good job. I feel like you can never fully know what to expect until you're back in it. And I mean, I just dove straight in, and just proud of myself for that.
Who's some of your inspirations as shooters? I feel like people look up to, this is somebody I want to be like. I love how they shoot. I love their game. Who are some of those for you?
Well, I wear 33 because of Larry Bird. So
All right, there we go.
I always loved him. I would watch highlights of him growing up. So
You trash talk like him?
oh no, I don't have that part of my game yet. But him, obviously, I played with Cassidy Harden for a few years, and I played with her when I was in middle school and she was in high school. So I always looked up to her because she was such a great shooter as well. So I would say those are a couple. Obviously, my parents too. They could both shoot, and they helped me.
Well, I was not in college at the same time as your parents, but they are Evansville graduates, right? The parents are a little younger than I. I do remember them both playing at Evansville, although I didn't see them with my own two eyes. How did that influence you, having two parents that had both played Division I basketball? And that's question one. Question two, was it basketball all the way for you, or were other sports on the radar for you growing up?
Growing up, I played pretty much everything. In high school, I played basketball, volleyball, and tennis. So really enjoyed all of those. I would say my main two were probably basketball and volleyball. And then once I got into high school, I knew I wanted to focus on basketball. But my parents both playing at Evansville and playing Division I. Obviously, they gave me a guide and kind of what to expect going into college basketball. So super thankful for that. And just kind of throughout the recruiting process as well, they were able to help me navigate kind of those relationships and figure out at that point where I wanted to go to college.
What's been your favorite, if you can pinpoint it, your favorite memory of your time here as a Purdue basketball player?
Oh gosh. Probably when we made the NCAA tournament my junior year. That was such a special moment. Just hearing your name on that screen. Just to be there with my teammates and my coaches, I would say that's just the best moment.
Absolutely.
All right, so you retired from your real job to come back and play basketball, which you had retired from, to take on said real job. So now what is next? Now that the basketball, at least you can't play collegiately anymore, at least I suppose, until you
Yeah.
get a court injunction that allows you to play another 10 years, as we're seeing, unfortunately, at the NCAA level. But now does one retire from basketball again and jump back into the real job, or how does this work now?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. Still trying to figure that out right now. So just trying to take it day by day and soak it all in these last few games. And yeah, I really don't know. Trying to figure that out still. So I guess
Like
we'll
most
see.
college graduates, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've asked a handful of other of your just not colleagues. What would be
Teammates?
no, not teammates. Because I've talked with Ryan Brown, Braden Smith.
Oh, sure. Contemporary.
Contemporaries. I knew it was a C. I knew it was a colleague contemporary. I've asked a few of your other contemporaries here at Purdue this. What, let's say, 5-10 years from now, what would be the XXX Madison Layden-Zay special?
Oh gosh.
Your own meal, what is it?
This is gonna be a horrible answer because I've only been to XXX once. So
Oh, yeah. But you know the allure. You know the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty plain. So something plain, side of fries,
So we're just like a plain sandwich.
plain sandwich, side of fries, and a Dr. Pepper.
Cool. Oh, Dr. Pepper. I do like it.
Go wrong there.
I do like that part. All right, before we cut you loose, because you do have some important things to get ready for this week, maybe like the Big Ten tournament. And again, fans, Purdue women, Wednesday night, 8:30, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, downtown Indianapolis. We need you there. We have a special gift for you here, Madison Layden-Zay. And we want to make sure you have this in your hands before you walk out of here. Again, we know you have important things to do, but nothing is more important than receiving the gift for the guest on the Home Field Apparel Spotlight segment. So take a look at that. Hopefully you like that.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Now let the camera see. Let all the folks at in see.
Very classic.
Love it.
Be great to wear during some March Madness watches or wherever. No. But yeah, glad you like it. Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
By the way, we checked with compliance. This is all above board. Okay, well, you don't have to. You'll need to go run the compliance and say Rob and Joe are trying to make you ineligible here. Thank you. You're a hell of a story, and that's why we wanted to have you on. I mean, what you have brought to Purdue women's basketball is something that we felt deserved to be recognized and celebrated. So, thank you for giving us a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, Madison Layden-Zay, she is our Home Field Spotlight segment. Still one segment of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast. Remaining, it's brought to you by Tom Wood Automotive. Joey and I will put the finishing touches on this one when we come back. All right, final segment of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Can you believe it? Episode number 12 is coming to a close. Rob Blackman and Joey Mulinaro here to put the finishing touches on this one. Busy week when it comes to Boilermaker Athletics, and the good news is there are a number of events that you can attend, like maybe, Wednesday night, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, downtown Indianapolis, Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament, Boilermakers taking on Oregon. Boilermakers coming off that do-or-die game on Sunday against Northwestern, keeping their season alive. Now it's Big Ten tournament time. Would love to see a ton of Boilermakers in Gainbridge Fieldhouse Wednesday night. Purdue men on the road also Wednesday night. That, too, is an 8:30 tip-off. That's at Northwestern in Evanston. We typically, Joe, have a really good showing in Evanston. Like, it normally feels more like a Purdue home game than Northwestern home game.
Sure.
I'm hoping that's the case on Wednesday.
Yes, and it's we got great news as well that our executive producer, Patrick, will not be there because he's been at the last two, and the Boilers haven't fared as well. So he won't be there, so that's good news for all the Boilermakers out there. You can feel solid about that going into Wednesday's matchup. And then Saturday, Senior Day, think that it's big time to go out there and give these seniors the flowers that they deserve for the career that they put together here at Purdue.
Agreed. Seniors for the Boilermakers with Senior Day, Saturday, 4 p.m., Mackey Arena. Wisconsin Badgers, the visitor. The Boilermakers, of course, beat Wisconsin earlier this year, but that was a long time ago. That was back in early January. We'll see if Purdue can do the clean sweep of the Badgers here this year. And if you're already on campus this weekend, Purdue softball we talked about is home games all weekend out at Bittinger, and Purdue baseball. their home portion of the schedule begins this weekend, and even more importantly for baseball, the conference season begins this weekend at Alexander Field with the Oregon Ducks and our old friend Mark Wasikowski returning to Alexander. So we will look forward to that. My point being, there are plenty of opportunities for you to catch the Boilermakers here over these next few days. And I'll finish with this. It is the month of March, which is exactly how we started this show, Joseph, trying to emphasize and reemphasize that in the world of college basketball, as you well know, once you turn the calendar to March, everything that's happened before, quite frankly, really doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's go time.
It's go time, and I feel like you could put the argument out there that for college hoops, more so than any other sport, is about getting hot at the right time. You always hear that about the NFL teams going into the playoffs. You hear about pitchers getting hot, in baseball at the right time, goalie getting hot in hockey right at the right time. But I feel like when you can turn that calendar to March and it can start to come together, it can click no matter what happened in January, middle of January, no matter what happened the last week of February. If those things start clicking and you start to really gel and come together at the right time, that's when you can see those 2011 UConn teams, those 2014 UConn teams, those runs happen that are really, really special, and hoping that this week is the start of that for our Boilers.
2011, Kemba Walker, UConn. Never forget it. They won 11 straight elimination games. Think about that. 5 straight games in their tournament, where if they lose, their season's over.
Yep.
They then rip off 6 straight wins in the NCAA tournament. 11 straight elimination games to win the Natty. So it can be done.
Can be done, and one thing that that team has in common with this team, among other things, is got a pretty darn good point guard. So hope that we can see a run like that coming up.
Kemba Walker ×2 with a guy who wears number 3.
I'd sign up for it.
Boy,
sounds good to me, partner.
Awesome. I'm keeping the faith, brother. Why not?
That's all you can do.
That's what Boilermakers do.
That's all you can do.
We keep the faith.
That's all you can do.
It's been a lot of fun, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this edition, episode number 12 of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Executive producer is Patrick Crawford. Producer of the show is Corey Palm. We thank everyone that's made us a part of their day. Director Brad Summer helping as well. For my broadcast partner, Joey Mulinaro, we will visit again soon. We hope you have enjoyed this edition of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics.
Boiler up.